All right, let's dive right into this explainer and decode the secret sauce of swarm organizations. Today, we're unpacking Swarmwise, an absolutely fascinating tactical playbook by Rick Falkvinge. If you've ever wondered how a massive, decentralized group of volunteers can literally outmaneuver rich, established corporations or political giants, well, you are in the right place. We're going to break down the exact mechanics of launching and sustaining a zero-budget revolution, basically acting as your practical guide for building a swarm of your very own.
Picture this. It's 2009, and the Swedish Pirate Party just pulled off a massive political victory in the European elections. They secured over 225,000 votes, becoming the largest party in that crucial under-30 demographic. Now, guess their total campaign budget. Just 50,000 euros. Meanwhile, their competitors spent 6 million. We are talking about a cost-efficiency advantage of over 2 orders of magnitude. They spent less than 1% of their rivals' budgets and still won. How? By working swarm-wise.
Here is exactly how we're going to break this down. What a swarm actually is, sparking that provocative idea, surviving the initial impact, hitting those magic group sizes, and finally, scaffolding and self-organization. Let's get into it.
Section 1. What exactly is a swarm? So, what kind of organization are we actually talking about here? From the outside, a swarm might look just like your standard top-down hierarchy. But peek under the hood, it is a totally different beast. It moves with blinding speed, leveraging a massive workforce of devoted volunteers, and runs on literally zero operating costs. It is entirely decentralized, built by a small core of people who just set up a supportive scaffolding, basically a network of go-to people that empowers thousands to cooperate on a shared goal.
Now, to really grasp this, you kind of need to unlearn almost everything business school taught you. Traditional corporate or democratic institutions are obsessed with control, right? They define boundaries, write strict job descriptions, and focus entirely on what people must do. A swarm completely flips that script. It operates on immense, radical trust and focuses strictly on what people can do. You literally have to let go of your brand control and just let people contribute however they see fit. The whole ethos here is open contribution. In a swarm, there is no hiring process. Anyone in the world can just step up, grab a task from a public list, and get to work without asking a single person for permission. And if you want leadership, you don't ask for a promotion. You simply stand up and say, hey, I'm going to do X to accomplish Y. Who wants to help? People just inspire each other, and successful projects naturally ripple out across the whole group.
All right, Section 2, the provocative idea. How do we actually get people to rally around us?
Here is the wild part. You absolutely do not need a massive advertising budget. In fact, standard slick corporate marketing can actually hurt a swarm because it just feels too artificial. You simply need your core idea to hit 4 specific triggers so word of mouth can take over. First, it's got to be tangible, a clear outcome like winning an election or hitting a user count. Second, credible, meaning people actually believe it's doable. Third, inclusive, giving everyone a clear way to pitch in. And finally, epic. You literally have to set out to change the world.
And listen, your idea does not need to look pretty. The actual day one website for the Swedish Pirate Party was incredibly rough. It was basic and even had placeholder text sitting right there at the top of the page. But you know what? It didn't matter one bit because it energized people. Falkvinge dropped a single link in a chat room, and within 2 days, that unpolished site had 3 million hits. Put your stake in the ground, make your epic goal known, and let the passion attract the people.
Moving right along to Section 3, surviving the initial impact.
So, your idea goes viral. Awesome, right? But suddenly, you go from being a team of 1 to having hundreds of people raising their hands going, what can I do? Here is the terrifying part. You cannot physically instruct 300 people one-on-one, and you only have a 24-hour window to capture their attention before they just shrug, get bored, and move on. You have to rely on the swarm to organize itself.
So here are your survival tactics. Number 1, mandate the swarm to self-organize by geography. Tell them to pick their own local leaders. Number 2, hand them a totally tangible first task immediately, something real, like collecting 2,000 signatures. Number 3, insist they meet up casually over pizza or a beer. Stuffy, formal meetings will absolutely kill your early momentum. And lastly, use the swarm's radical transparency to flush out the attention junkies. You know, the folks who just want the spotlight instead of actually doing the hard work.
Section 4. The magic group sizes. Let's dive into the actual limits of human psychology.
First up, the magic number 7. 7 is the absolute hard cap for a tight, highly functional working group. Why? Because the second you go beyond this, the social complexity completely overwhelms your actual productivity.
Let's break down the math on this for a second. In a group of 3, you've got 3 relationships to maintain. Easy. In a group of 7, that jumps to 21 relationships. But if you add just one more person to make it an 8-person group, bam, you're suddenly juggling 28 relationships. Adding that 8th person gives you a tiny 14% bump in work capacity, but requires 33% more effort just to maintain those social bonds. The group just bogs down. So keep those tight teams at 7 or less, for sure.
Next magic number, 30. This is the max capacity for an extended family or a geographical subgroup. You know some curious facts about these folks, but you can't work tightly with all of them every single day. Once a city group or a specific department starts creeping past 35 people, you absolutely have to split it, say into a North City and South City group. If you don't, it becomes a massive bottleneck and blocks further growth.
And the final magic number is 150. You might actually know this one as Dunbar's number. It's an observed, hardwired biological limit for our maximum tribe size. It's literally the maximum number of people we can know by name and keep at least a loose social bond with. So, what does this mean for your swarm? It means the second an informal chat channel, a forum, or any group hits 150 people, you've hit a glass ceiling. Newcomers just won't be able to socially integrate, and the swarm's growth will completely stall out. You've got to watch for this proactively and split those massive groups into fresh, smaller subgroups so the movement can just keep scaling indefinitely.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, Section 5, Scaffolding and Self-Organization.
To actually support all these thousands of volunteers, you need to build what we call scaffolding, a solid framework of go-to officers. And this scaffolding is optimized for 3 specific things. Speed, by stripping away every single bottleneck. Trust, achieved through radical transparency and giving people huge, far-reaching mandates to act. And scalability, by drawing out a massive organizational chart right from day one, even if you don't have a single person to fill it yet.
Here's how you hack those magic group limits we just talked about. You stack those 7-person groups to ensure that no single geography leader ever has more than 6 direct contacts reporting to them. You basically build mini pyramids from the top down. This creates total order and gives the swarm clear go-to contacts, all without micromanaging the thousands of activists at the bottom who are actually getting the work done.
Now here is a massive takeaway. Do not just fill leadership roles for the sake of having a name in a box. In a swarm, empty boxes on your org charts are actually a great thing. They are an open invitation. You just wait for volunteers to naturally step up, do the work organically, and prove themselves out in the action. Your org chart should always lag slightly behind reality, basically acting as a map of what the volunteers have already naturally built themselves.
Let's end on this absolutely crucial cultural note. In a swarm, the hierarchy is completely upside down. Leaders are essentially janitors. They're just there to clear obstacles and support the swarm, not boss people around. And look, because volunteers aren't getting paid, burnout is a very real threat. You counter this by building redundancy, give everything a co-leader, and constantly remind people that it is totally okay to step away. The world is not going to run out of problems while they rest.
All right, so we've covered the entire playbook. We broke down how to form the swarm, how to survive that crazy viral launch, how to navigate group psychology, and how to build the scaffolding for infinite scale. The mechanics are all right here, completely free and just waiting to be used. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I want to leave you with one final thought. What is your provocative idea?